I'm excited about today's project, but I'm a little nervous too. This is Labradorite, which is a type of feldspar. I got this at the rock shed when I was in South Dakota almost 2 years ago. Sean actually gave it to me, wouldn't let me pay for anything when I left. But this has a type of iridescent schiller called labradorescence, since it's Labradorite. And if you look around the edges there, you can see a little bit of blue or purple as I move it. And the trick is, if you move it the wrong way, it just completely disappears. The other piece I have is better. So, kind of like that. There, you can see quite a bit of blue. But if you turn it like that, it just goes away. Oh, it's better that way. But certain angles, you don't see it at all. So the trick is to cut it right. And I've never cut this stuff. I did some reading, and it does not look like it's easy to cut. And the plane that appears in changes throughout the rock from what I've read. So you might get a good slab off by cutting it one way, and then the next slab will look like nothing, so you got to change the angle of the cut. So one trick that I read said take some water, actually it said paint. I'm going to try it with water. And you get it so it looks the best, kind of like that. And then you lower it into the water to make a line there so you know where to cut. So keep it pretty, something like that. I'll lower it down, so like that, and then I'm going to take a Sharpie and mark around that line, if I can see it. I think I can kind of see it, except that the Sharpie doesn't work when it gets wet. As long as I can get a little bit of an idea, I should be good. Not working real great, but all right. Hopefully I'll be able to see that when it dries off. But I'm going to take that to the saw and cut it, and we'll see what we get. I'm using my Frantom saw today because it has this little fence that I can slide over after I cut the end off to cut uniform slabs. That cut pretty fast. This is only 6 on the Mohs scale, so that's fairly soft, not super soft. Unfortunately, a bunch of little pieces broke off, so that doesn't say much about the strength of my slab that's going to come off here. Let's see how we did. Yeah, I think we got pretty good color. But I think it's also going to fall apart when I cut the slab through, so we'll try again and see what happens. More little pieces that fell off, and this part stayed together. I'm going to try to break it. There's a crack right there, so I'm going to give a little pressure on it and see if it breaks. May as well break it now rather than spend a bunch of time and breaking it later. Yep, I thought that was going to happen. I might be able to get a cab out of that piece, so I don't see any fractures there, so all is not lost. What do we have going on here? All right, it's still got good color, depending on the angle you look at it. So I think I'll take another slab off like that, but if I start losing the color, I'll have to stop and do something different. All right, more crumbling. I don't know if my light's in quite the right place to show you this. Crack right there. Let's see if I can break it. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, but holding up pretty well. Maybe I'm going to be okay. Maybe that's a healed fracture there. And let's see what the other piece looks like. Do we still have the blue color? Yeah, I think so. A little bit right in there. don't know if I should be turning it, but I couldn't see any other color anywhere else on it, so I don't really know which other way I would go with it. Ooh, 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 look at that. So I'm seeing that color. I think I need to cut at an angle more like that. I'm going to start cutting across this way and see what happens. I just made another cut, but I think I missed on the color because I was hoping this face would be blue. And I'm not sure. Might need to cut more. It's hard to figure out. I want it like that. Okay, I'm going to try again across here and see if I can do better than that last one. Because it doesn't look good that way. It only looks good that way. Okay, I think I just missed again. You know what? I'm going to put this one away. I'm going to try the other piece. I got a line marked right along there. This one doesn't have nearly as much labradorescent showing, or schiller. So I don't have as high of expectations for this one, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it's good once you get under the surface. What do we have? Ooh, it's pretty good if you go that way. I think I missed a little bit. Oh, it's really good. That's cut at a little bit different angle. Look at it straight on, not so good. Definitely some good stuff in there, though. I think I got to cut it a little bit different angle. I'm going to try again. That's not too bad. Get a cab like right in there, maybe right over in here. I wouldn't say that went perfectly, but I have a few slabs. That one shows some good color, although it's not everywhere, but I think I can get a good cab right out of there. This side's not quite as good. Some color there. It's kind of splotchy. And it has a big crack through it, so that's just going to go on the tumbler. And this piece, I don't know about that crack there, if that's going to hold up, and I'm not sure if it's got great color anyhow. That's probably for the tumbler. I had some bigger chunks here that I was losing all the color. I got a little bit down there, but I tried cutting different sides. That's a tumbler piece. By the way, I tried tumbling this once before. It didn't go great. It wasn't horrible, but I think I can do better. So I got to try some other methods for tumbling this. This is an end cut. I could possibly do a cab right maybe in there and have this be the back and then dome the front here and see what happens. I wouldn't expect much to happen, but it's maybe worth a try. And that one's got a big crack in it too. So yeah, I might be able to get something in here. I don't know. Those are the pieces I have to work with. That's about all I got out of those two rocks, basically because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. That's okay. That's how you learn. I decided to cut this one first because it has the most fractures in it, so I just decided it would be my test piece. And I could see there was a fracture through here, so I intentionally broke it. I just wanted you to see those cleavage planes. Look how flat that breaks. And that's not a good thing because it has a tendency to break along those, so I'm worried about this chipping and falling apart as I cut it. So let's give it a try and see how it goes. Okay, so you can see I got a couple chips here. This one came really close but didn't quite hit the line. This one went into the line, but it's thicker toward the bottom, and the top's going to get domed anyhow, so that shouldn't matter. So let's see how the grinding goes. Okay, next thing I need to do is put a groove in the side of this thing. And I'm worried about it cracking, especially right there. You can see that there's a fracture there already, so that whole part might just fall off when I do this, in which case I'll start over. But I'm putting my groove not quite as close to the edge as I usually do for that reason, so I've got the bit raised up just a little bit. By the way, people are always asking about where to get this groove bit. I have an Amazon storefront. It's in the description of all my videos, and if you go look in there, I've got the exact bits I have. The glass grinding machine, I couldn't find the exact same one. This is used, and I don't know if they make this model anymore, but there's a similar glass grinding machine in there, and I really don't think it matters which one you get. So anyhow, let's see how this goes. Every step along the way I'm a little bit nervous about. That first pass, I'll have to go around a few times. So far it looks okay. Alright, here's where we are. Got my groove in there, I've got my girdle line on there. I did read that you're not supposed to make a very high dome on these because you're changing the angle when you do that. And that might be way too high, but that's how thick I cut my slabs, so we'll see how it works out. So that's all ready to go. While I was waiting for the wax to cool off on my dop stick there, I decided to do another one. I had this one glued up from before. This is a really nice Petoskey stone until right at the end. It's almost all polished. I was on the polish stage and the whole top broke right off it, but that was looking really nice. Oh well, that happens. Alright, so now I'm just going to dome it, and then it'll be almost done. Then I just have to get the wire around there, and we'll be finished. Okay, I just finished up with a 3000 wheel, and it's looking pretty good already, but I'm going to try to get a little more shine out of the cerium oxide disc on the end here. It's all finished up except for the wire wrapping. Gets the best glow when you look at it from down low. So I guess this is going to be best for a tall person to wear, so everybody looks up at it. I'll go see if I can put the wire on without messing things up. There it is, all finished up. Got the wire wrapping on there without too many problems. This one glows the best if you look at it from way down low. So I didn't really cut that one as well as I could have. But I did make some other ones here. So this is probably the most fractured one. You can see there's a big fracture right along there. Some other fractures in there. But let's look at these others. Here's a round one I did. Not lots of Labradorescence, but a little bit down there in the bottom. A little bit on the top too, depends on which way you move it. That one's probably the best one. The problem with this stuff is it looks great like that, but you turn it this way and it's not nearly as good. Here's Petoskey stone that I did. Another one with pretty good blue in there. Got to get it just the right way. This one was the end cut, and the back, I didn't polish the backs as much as the fronts, but the back, you can see there's some pretty good blue in there, and that was going to be the front of this one, because I had both sides smoothed out pretty well, or flattened out pretty well, but then I chipped it, and the chip was on this side, so I was able to hide the chip on the rounded off edges there. So there's a little bit of blue down there in the bottom, but the rest of it isn't so great. A little bit here and there, but best right down there in the bottom. So what do you think of this stuff? It doesn't look that great when you don't see the blue, but when you do, it looks kind of awesome. So I don't know. I haven't quite made up my mind about this stuff. What you should do is go watch another video about doing the same thing with crazy lace agate. That rock I am definitely sure I like. So click on that and I'll see you over there.